Hello, you're watching TVP World Talks. I'm Jonasz Rybiński. Poland's energy giant Orlen has clinched a deal with private sector partner Synthos to build Poland's first small modular reactor complex. Using cutting-edge technology, the new facility is set to catapult the company into a bold future of energy independence. But how quickly can this future be expected to arrive? And what obstacles need to be tackled along the way? Joining us now is Czyżewski, energy analyst from the Polska z Natury, or Poland by Nature Foundation. Hello and welcome to TVP World.
Hello, welcome, thank you for having me.
So first of all, let's talk about small modular reactors. Most people do realize that they are supposed to be smaller than your typical reactor. However, there are also many other features that makes them special. Can you tell us more about this?
Well, of course, as the name suggests, small modular reactors are much smaller than the traditional big reactors. Big reactors that we know from nuclear energy are have around 1 gigawatt of installed capacity, and small modular reactors have it between 5 and 300 megawatts of capacity, so that's the main difference. But the technology is pretty much the same as in big reactors. But the small modular reactors have those features of flexibility, scalability, and lower investments barriers. They can be installed, as producers say, between 24 and 36 months. So it's much quicker than the big nuclear power plants. We see that we'll have probably our first nuclear power plant in Poland in 10 years, and it's not started yesterday, right? So the modular reactors are much quicker in that regard. Well, in terms of Poland and its challenges regarding decarbonization, they can be especially important because we are facing something that we call production gap. In coming years, we'll have to say goodbye to many blocks in coal power plants. They're just old, they are exploited at this point, and we can face the production gap in 4.2 gigawatts until 2050. So small modular reactors, especially those from Orlen, from GE Hitachi, really, can be just in time to replace them. We can be lucky again in our energy system, like we were lucky a couple of years ago when we finished Baltic pipe, when Russia closed its gas connections with Poland.
So it's also diversification of the energy sources. But let's talk about this technology, because you've mentioned that this essentially doesn't differ that much from a conventional reactor. However, they are often actually billed as having additional safety features, namely passive nuclear safety. Can you explain this concept? Because this actually could be a game changer, especially for those who think, oh, nuclear power stations are inherently the sort of thing that you really need to, maintain very high safety standards. Here it also applies, but the reactor itself has certain built-in features, right?
Yeah, passive safety systems are something common in fourth generation reactors, even if in the big ones, even if in traditional ones. So it became a standard in nuclear energy. Of course, after the catastrophe in Chernobyl, nuclear industry focused on safety beyond any imagination earlier. It became main issue after the catastrophe. So passive energy system, in short, is something that phases out the energy production, phases out the nuclear reactor without the human touch, without people interfering. If something goes wrong, if some measure is not standard, it closes automatically.
So there is no space for human error, right? But also, it's also about the reactor having fewer moving parts, so to say, right? For example, the cooling systems not really requiring any additional pumps, any additional devices which could potentially fail.
Yeah, exactly. Safety is number one issue in nuclear energy. It's beyond any debate. The industry focused on that, and without it, it can't really revive. We are seeing sort of renaissance of nuclear energy. Of course, it's the beginning of this renaissance, and the small modular reactors can be important part of this renaissance.
And that is exactly what I wanted to ask about, because we're talking about this technology, but this technology isn't really out on the market yet. It's billed as a proposed system. So does it mean that we could still face some sort of delays? Or is the concept advanced enough when it comes to its design that basically it's all about just beginning the production and the installation of these units in Poland and other places around the world, and basically, waiting for the benefits to actually happen?
Well, delays are something vital for energy industry, so of course we can face some delays, but now it seems that those reactors will be on time. The first operable plant is being constructed. It started construction started in May this year in Ontario, in Canada. So the project.
What's the expected completion date for that one?
That one, from what I recall, it's 2029. And the next is Poland, really, because the Orlen Synthos Green Energy sort of booked the place in line for that technology. And we can expect, if everything goes according to the plan, that we'll have those reactors in early 30s, just in time to replace some of the old coal power plants. Of course, it's still not 100% sure that this technology will be operable and we will have it in Poland, but if that would happen, well, many problems of our energy system will be resolved at once.
So this brings me to my next question. Is this reactor going to be more for internal corporate use of Orlen, the company, which in the course of its activities, like fuel refining and so on, it needs lots of energy? Or is it going to offer energy to consumers as well?
Well, Włocławek, the first site that we probably will see, small modular reactor in Poland, is important because of the company that operates them, Anwil Włocławek. It produces fertilizers, so that was the idea behind this location. So it's probably for the industry, but small modular reactors can generate anything. It's not even only electricity. It can provide district heating. It can provide energy to produce hydrogen. It can provide really anything regarding energy. And well, there is an idea in Polish energy system, in Polish energy environment, so to speak, that small modular reactors can be an answer to problems of district heating. We have heavily in debt this district heating. They have financial troubles. It's relying on coal, and it needs to be decarbonized as well. So small modular reactors are almost perfect for district heating. They are perfect for industry as well. It's not an accident that Orlen is interested in that KGHM, the Polish copper giant, was interested in that technology, because it's hard to decarbonize the industry. There are just no technologies available now. SMR can be that technology in coming years.
And also, you said that this is for industrial use, but by making this company self-reliant, it will free up power in the entire system, right? Because the company will no longer be drawing power from the grid. Instead, it's going to be generating its own power. So it's going to be with a benefit for consumers as well, in a way. For example, reducing the risk of blackouts, energy shortages, and so on.
Yeah, SMRs, of course, apart from what I said, can generate electricity for some regions, for cities, regarding.
No, of course, but this particular one.
Yeah, it can. Of course, it can generate electricity for the citizens as well. It can serve many purposes. Initially, Orlen wanted to have 20 different sites. It was reduced to 6, but if we'll have 20 different sites with 4 reactors from GE Hitachi, we would replace almost entire installed capacity in coal that we have today. 24 gigawatts in SMRs was planned initially, and we have now 29 in coal, which generates 60% of our electricity, at least last year.
This is a private-public partnership in a way, because Orlen is state-controlled. The state is the biggest stakeholder. On the other hand, you have Synthos, which is a privately owned company which has hitherto focused mostly on chemicals. Do you think that this could be the solution, or could there be some problems when, the private sector meets the public sector? Could we face some issues like regulation, like disputes over rights and stuff like that? What do you think?
Well, the deal is that Orlen have 50% and Synthos have 50% of stake in this company. So I think that's the fair deal between them. It worth noting that this partnership survived political change, right? We had many changes in state companies after the last election, and this company survived, and investment in SMR survived because it started at previous government term. So it's really optimistic that these investments last, as well as offshore wind investment last throughout the different governments. And it's important because the investments in energy sector are just taking a long time to accomplish.
But it's taken them a while to hammer out that deal. What was this about, essentially? Why did these two companies need, essentially some more time to make this deal happen?
Well, I think that the main issue was financing, some know-how. Synthos have this know-how from its operation. The risk, it's divided between those companies. I think that's those are the typical corporate issues when it comes to investments.
Because Synthos is actually bringing this technology to the table. I mean, it's licensed from the US, but it's actually planning investments in other countries as well, right?
Yeah, when Orlen and Synthos decided to make many deals with GE Hitachi, it sort of booked its place in the line, and this is the only entity that has the license for this technology. And well, if everything goes according to the plan, we'll have one of the first small modular reactors power plants in the world. So, of course, that's the opportunity to develop Poland's own nuclear industry. If we will have a couple of big nuclear power plants and many more, maybe small nuclear power plants with SMRs, we will need industry. We can develop our own company. If we are to deploy this technology further in Central Eastern Europe and beyond, we'll have to build our own industry. And it's particularly important in modern economic era to have our own technology, our own companies.
Czyżewski was our guest today here on TVP World. Thank you very much for joining us and for sharing your insight.
Thank you very much.
And I'm Natury Foundation. You're watching TVP World. Please stay with us for more latest news, updates and commentary.